Hello everybody and welcome back to the AOR F1 2016 Championship. We're back in Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix and opening round of Season 13, which may indeed be unlucky for some. My name is Justin, and joining me once again for this journey, it's AliK.
Indeed, it's great to be back for another season of racing in AOR. And a couple of things to note coming into this one. We are running a slightly reduced 15-round calendar due to the as of yet unknown release date of F1 2017, and looking at the grid, the whole of the top 7, apart from the man who finished second last season, Seiyariu, is back to fight it out for the title. Can anyone challenge the Flying Finn? We're going to have to find out.
Yep, last time out it was Cupid, actually last season I should say, it was Cupid who took the inaugural pole position, showing everyone that he had the pace to stand on the top step, but after 29 laps of racing, it was the Flying Finn who took his first win in his first race with AOR and took a big step toward becoming the Season 12 champion with more than half of the races won over the course of the season. Cupid held on to second place in the Australian Grand Prix last season, but it was Seiyariu who took the final step on the rostrum and who would eventually secure himself as the one true rival to the Flying Finn over the course of what was the longest season in AOR history. Enough about last season though, let's kick off the action here in Season 13, starting with the driver and team introductions and full qualifying report.
Alright, a new season of AOR is upon us, so let's quickly run through the grid for the AOR Xbox One F1 League for this season. Starting off with the Mercedes team, where we've got the reigning champion, the Flying Finn, taking number 99 on his quest to defend his championship. He will have a really tough challenge though from his teammate TSR Cupid, the Season 11 champion and 4th place finisher last season. That is a strong team and definitely one to watch for the Constructors' Championship. Next up, Ferrari, where we got Burnout F1, who only finished 21st in F1 last season, but keeps his spot on the grid alongside TRL Williams, who is now a full-time driver after being a reserve towards the back end of last season. Then in the Red Bull team, we have another former champion, the Season 10 champion, in fact TRL Martin, who finished 3rd in Season 12, and he will be teaming up with AOR Reversal, who also had a really impressive season with a 5th place last time out. Then in the Williams team, an interesting combination of VBR StreeZ and AOR Raikkonen 12th and 16th respectively for those in Season 12, but both drivers who on occasion showed really good promise. Then Force India, Mike Marshmallow, who hasn't picked a number yet, he will be teaming up with IRL Giovinazzi, who moves up from his reserve role in Season 12. It'll be interesting to see what those guys can do. And then in the McLaren team, STS F1 Alonso alongside CRL Hamilton, two drivers who both were struggling quite a lot with finishing races last season and who definitely, if they can sort that out, have the potential to improve on their Season 12 finishing positions. Toro Rosso next, and they have gone for an all-American combo with Lucky Dog 2000 now and 6 Skills teaming up. They only finished 18th and 19th last season, so we'll definitely be looking to improve on that. Then in the Haas team, we got 2 new drivers to the league, Killer Whale 48 and Danny M7. Unknown quantities to the league, but both who set really impressive time trial times to qualify for the top tier. Will definitely be interesting to see what they can do alongside the established forces of the league. And then the Renault team, another exciting combo. Jason97 F1, 6th place last season, a man with great consistency who comes into the season on good form. And he will be teamed up with the man who somehow still has not won an AOR Championship, TRL Limitless. Disappointing season for him last time out, only 7th place, but he is back and will surely be looking to challenge for the top spot once again. Then, the Sauber team, we've got 2 drivers who last season raced in the GP2 League, the 2nd tier of AOR on Xbox, Suphrize Meh and CRMR11, 2 drivers who were really impressed in the 2nd tier last season and will now be taking a step up to the top flight. And then finally, the Manor team, 2 drivers who also drove in the league last season, 14th and 20th place respectively for RS Falcon and Franglish, who round off the grid. So it's going to be a very exciting field of drivers to follow once again. Unfortunately, a few omissions from last season, Seiyariu having chosen to take a break, same goes for Leobot and Andre BCF in 1997, while Ycoms has taken the move over to the PC League for this season, although he will still be helping me out very much with creating these videos for the Xbox League. And of course, everyone's favourite backbacker Snowdor will unfortunately not be back to try and claim that first point of his AOR F1 career. But that's it, 22 drivers are ready for action. I'm Fisi and I hope you'll enjoy these videos throughout the season, and let's now jump into qualifying for the season opener.
Here we are for the first qualifying comparison of Season 13, featuring the Sauber of Suphrize Meh on the right and the Haas of Killer Whale on the left. Both drivers are going to be looking for the 100 metre board, braking for turn 1, both opting to use third gear, Suphrize Meh taking a lot of curb, which is going to aid him in his run down towards turn 3. Also trying to nick a little bit of slipstream from the car on the right hand side there, but breaking at the 100 meter board. Both drivers hit that apex in second gear, Suphrize Meh choosing to keep his car in the middle of the track in an attempt to open up turn 4 more through this flat out run of turn 5 as well. And as you can see, just before the sector split, it has got Suphrize Meh ever so slightly ahead of Killer Whale. And coming into turn 6, Killer Whale misses his apex and gets a bit of oversteer on the exit, and that's going to harm his run down this next straight towards the next corner, breaking at the 100 meter board. Both drivers opting to use second gear here, and Killer Whale taking a bit of that sausage curve, which again could harm his exit down this straight towards the start of sector 3. So coming up to the fast left right now, it requires a lot of commitment from both drivers. You can see Suphrize Meh slightly ahead on the apex, both drivers opting to use 5th gear, with Suphrize Meh shifting up early towards 7th in an attempt to stabilise the car a bit further. Coming into this corner, both drivers choosing to brake at about 75 metres, aggressive on the downshifts in an attempt to engine brake the car a bit. Again, using engine braking at 4th gear through that right hander, both drivers choosing 1st gear for the penultimate corner there. And coming up on the exit of the final corner, bit of oversteer for Killer Whale, but he's short shifting into 5th gear, opening the DRS and coming across the line, sees a difference of 0.003 of a second, with Killer Whale lining up just ahead of Suphrize Meh.
Thank you to Seiyariu for that qualifying comparison, and now taking a look at the grid for the first race of season 13. Lining up on pole position for the second season in succession, it is TSR Cupid, who took pole position in that Mercedes with a time of a 24.0, and then lining up in second place to complete a Mercedes front row lockout with what can only be described as a very sexy lap on the soft carbon of tyres is the season 12 champion, the Flying Finn. Then in third place we've got Mike Marshmallow on the super soft tyres, splitting the two highest soft runners with VBR StreeZ in fourth place. Jason97 F1 will line up in fifth, with the two debutants Killer Whale 46 and Suphrize Meh lining up in 6th and 7th. 8th, 9th and 10th sees us with SES F1 Alonso, RS Polka and IRL Giovinazzi, and 11th place sees Seiyariu get free tyre choice for the race. 6 Skills, the man who struggled at times last season, will line up in P12, with TRL Limitless, AOR Raikkonen and TRL Martin well down the order. Limitless and Martin both on the soft tyres, really struggling to get a lap in at the end of the session. All the drivers were under pressure on the dry tyres, only getting one run in at the end of the session due to a rain affected session at the start. Then we have Danny M7, TRL Williams, AOR Reversal and Burnout F1 rounding out the grid for the first race of the season. And now it is time for the Australian Grand Prix.
Welcome to the grid here in Australia for the opener of Season 13. We've got 19 drivers preparing to go racing and a 0% chance of rain heading into this 29-lap race. We've seen lots of incidents in F1 and AOR into turns 1 and 3 as drivers go racing for the first time after their break, of course. Ali, how much carnage are you expecting in this first lap?
Hopefully not a lot. We have a lot of high quality drivers here ready to go racing for the first time in Season 13. We're looking at a track map here on the formation lap, 2 main overtaking opportunities down into turn 1 with the DRS, and then once again into turn 3 into that hairpin. Fairly heavy braking zones, and they are normally the main areas we're going to see for overtaking in this race. Obviously only one detection zone, so you get, if you're behind the car in front, then you get the DRS for both zones, even if you make the move into turn 1. So that's possibly something to note coming into this race. And also for the strategy, we're expecting the 1-stop to probably be faster by a couple of seconds than the 2-stop. It is possible to do a 1-stop even starting on the super softs, doing super soft medium, but the optimal strategy is definitely soft mediums. We're looking at Limitless and Martin, who are way down the order today. They've got a big job on their hands if they want to be challenging the two Mercedes boys right up at the front.
Yep, and they are on those soft tires, the preferable ones, as is the Flying Finn, who we're on board with now. But it is his teammate Cupid who took another pole position. He took the Season 12 pole position for the Australian Grand Prix, and he has backed the field right up there at the penultimate corner at turn 15 to very slow. So it's all a bit bunched up there for the two Ferraris and for the Haas car there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how all of this plays out. But again, Cupid on pole once again. The Flying Finn just behind him though on those soft tires, and there's a pretty big delta between the super softs and the softs. So we're fully expecting the Flying Finn is going to be very strong in the race. We'll see how long it takes him for him to overtake Cupid and potentially take the lead of this race. Certainly, he may get the advantage in the pit stop phase as the lights are coming on now. All the drivers preparing to go racing on board with Killer Whale as the lights go out in 6th position. Pretty good start for him, but it looks like a fantastic start for StreeZ, already alongside Mark Marshmallow up the inside at turn number 1, moving himself up into 3rd position. On board with Suphrize in 7th position in the Sauber car. He's going to get some pressure from SDS F1. Alonso, the former Williams driver, now in the McLaren, is looking like he's going to get the inside line. Oh, it's a bit of a sandwich here for Suphrize into turn 3, and there is the carnage. And I think that was a racing incident there, Ali. Suphrize really just in the middle, and I don't think they knew that they were 3 wide.
Unfortunately, 3 cars into 1 does not go, as we have a lot of cars trying to rejoin the track, and a Haas inside of a Sauber. RS Falcon, possibly the unluckiest man in this league, has a red front wing once again, and his season has got underway in the worst possible fashion. We have Danny diving down the inside of SDS F1 Alonso, who obviously had that notable moment in Mexico last season where he was deemed to have caused that enormous pile-up before we even got to turn 1, but now on board with the flying fin, the man who's in such a commanding position in this race on the soft tyres in 2nd place. His teammate TSR Keeper has pulled a little gap in front as Jason is now getting past. Is that Killer Whale? Oh, it's 3 wide with the Renault and the Force India as well, and Giovinazzi's on the outside and Jason on the inside, and Killer Whale has been passed by 2 cars in the space of 1 corner as we have CRMR getting incredibly close to that Haas, and we have TRL Limitless joining this battle. He stayed out of the trouble very nicely early on those soft tyres. He picked up a warning for corner cutting at the penultimate corner as he tried to get past that Sauber, and now Martin trying to follow Limitless through. It's going to be crucial for those 2 to work together if they want to get through this field and towards the front by the end of the race.
And Limitless just showing that experience. I mean, truly incredible. Starting from 13th on the grid, and after 1 lap of racing, he's already up into a points-paying position, up into 8th position here. Now we've got the Red Bull looking at the inside of the Sauber. Into turn number 3 they go, and it looks like Martin is going to pull off that move pretty easily, pretty textbook there. Oh, and CRMR getting a lot of understeer there through turn number 4. Really feeling the effect of that dirty air. We've got the Manor and the Sauber both into the pits for that lap 1 incident to replace those wings, and that's going to be, of course, a very long stop for them, in excess of 10 seconds for Suphrize. Jason97 F1 in the Renault this season after moving from the Ferrari team and following behind that Force India, and Killer Whale again, who lost those 2 positions, was up into 5th. Actually, was started in 6th, gained a position, and then lost a couple of them, as Ali mentioned, down into 7th position now. But Jason97 F1 looking pretty strong, you have to say. AOR Reversal a bit further down the grid than we would have possibly expected. He's running behind Burnout F1, who's on those medium compound tires, the hardest compound tires for this weekend. Oh, and that's very late braking for Reversal, and that's going to allow Burnout F1 to get the undercut on him at turn number 13. Pretty straightforward for him. Back on board with the flying fin, and unsurprisingly, Cupid has extended a gap. But of course, he is on the super soft tires. They're going to be about a half second or more even faster than the soft tires. But of course, that deficit is going to come down as those super softs start to wear down, Ali.
It is indeed, and we expect the soft runs to be pitting around about lap 10 or 11 if they want to get to the end on a set of the mediums. But now we have Jason looking down the inside of IRL Giovinazzi into turn 3. And it looks like he's managed to get that move done fairly easy with Giovinazzi on the outside. Surely he can't try and... Oh, wow. That's a dive and a half from AOR Reversal. We saw him make that dive a little bit earlier on the previous lap, and then he tried it once again into turn 3 this time. It looks like he managed to get the move done. The man who finished 5th in last season's championship. But now we have this battle for 5th place once again. Jason, Giovinazzi, Killer Whale, and then at the back of that train we have Martin and Limitless as well. 6 Skills and CRMR battling for the final points paying position then. Into turn 9, I believe this is. The CRMR trying to hang it very nicely round the outside on his debut in the F1 League. That is some very nice racing shown from the Sauber driver. But into turns 11 and 12, these corners are incredibly difficult to get right, as we see a floating bollard in the middle of the track, and that is why they are so difficult to get right. It's so easy to corner cut and pick up one of those warnings, and it's really going to cost you around here, picking up a 3-second time penalty. We've now got Giovinazzi getting incredibly close to Jason round the outside into the final sector. Killer Whale just waiting for an opportunity to pounce. Is he going to go for it into the penultimate corner? He is, and there are 4 cars in the space of half a second here. Maybe 5 if you count TR Martin, as well as Limitless into the back of that Haas. That's incredibly close, and now Martin is going to be able to have a look down the inside into turn 1, as they both have DRS, and the old Season 10 Championship rivals have chosen this time to work together very nicely, as Giovinazzi's gone got in all kinds of trouble through turn 1, and Killer Whale is at the back of him. and into the wall, and he's lost his front wing, and StreeZ has taken second place in all of that. We missed that because of the battle in the midfield, but this is shaping up to be a very nice race here.
Wow, it's 6 skills with a very late braking maneuver on CRMR there into turn number 3. That was, man, he put him in his place with that one. That was impressive. Killer Whale does continue on. The front left of his front wing, the left side of his front wing, I should say, is currently damaged, so that's certainly going to be slowing him down on this clockwise circuit. The Flying Finn, as you mentioned, down into 3rd position after StreeZ was able to get by. Also started on those soft compound tires down in 4th position. Managed to get the better of Mike Marshmallow, who's already lost the position on the Super Softs. He's not far behind. He's actually within DRS range on the Flying Finn, but I think right now the Flying Finn is a little bit... Oh, no. And Giovinazzi, I was going to mention, who was a reserve driver last season, now battling for double-digit points finishing position here for 5th position, but he does pick up a 3-second time penalty, and he's let Limitless through, and he's let Martin through as well. So Giovinazzi, unfortunately, losing out in more ways than one there. STS F1 Alonso, though, seeming to get the better of Killer Whale and TRL Williams. But again, Killer Whale with that front wing damage, clearly struggling at the moment. Let's see if the Flying Finn is going to try anything into turn 1. No, he is not, because, of course, the better overtaking location is to turn 3. But StreeZ actually pulling out that gap a little bit through turn 2. And looking pretty handy through there. Killer Whale very cautious into the pit lane. Certainly, we saw lots of penalties last season for being a bit aggressive into the pits. But go ahead and talk us through the start here, Ali.
So it looks like both Mercedes boys got off the line fairly cleanly, and there's not a position change for the lead into turn 1, and Cupid gets a very nice run through turn 1. That just allows him to build that gap out through the first sector, and this is on board with Limitless, who is right in the middle of all of this smoke, right in the midfield. How does he manage to keep it clean into turn 1? He's in the middle of 3 or 4 cars even, almost hitting the back of Giovinazzi, keeping his car facing the right direction and without any damage. Now let's have a look on board with AOR Raikkonen. That's a little bit hot into turn 1. He's into the back of 6 skills, and always been tagged from behind as well. That is not a good start for AOR Raikkonen. We saw him pick up that podium so impressively in Brazil at the end of last season, but that is not the way he would have wanted to start season 13. You can see Danny getting incredibly close, and that was the contact from behind. I don't think the Haas driver picked up any damage from that, but obviously he will have lost heaps of time, as you see the Williams doing burnouts, trying to get going in the right direction again. And this is on board with Burnout F1 from the very back of the field, starting on the medium compound of tyres with his Ferrari teammate right next to him. Gets a really nice start actually, Burnout, and you can just see how close everybody is into turn 1. There's the contact ahead of him, and Burnout manages to keep his nose clean, and he's looking in a fairly good position after lap 1 on those medium tyres. He's got a pretty good strategy there, as we now have once again 6 skills and CRMR. 6 skills struggled for consistency at times last season, but it looks like running in the points in the opening race of season 13, it's going to be a good sign of things to come for 6 skills maybe for the rest of this season. But this battle's getting very feisty, and AOR Reversal, a man that we expected to probably be a little bit further up the grid in the first race of the season. That was incredibly close to the back of the Sauber, but AOR Reversal, again, like Martin and Limitless, is somebody we would expect to be working their way through the field after only setting a qualifying time on intermediates. I'm not entirely sure what happened in that session, whether he just couldn't get out in time on the dries. But now we have CRMR down the inside into turn 1. Looks like he was incredibly late on the brakes there. And now we have the 2 Renault teammates of Limitless down the inside of Jason. I think those soft tyres are now starting to become faster than the super softs.
Yeah, Limitless also, I think, left room for Jason at the inside of turn 4 there. Either that or he just turned in very late there, but Martin is going to take advantage of Jason 97 F1 struggles there. Clearly not having a good time on those very worn super soft tires. He's 5.5 laps into the race, and also had to use these tires in qualifying, of course, as well. So certainly he is feeling the age on those tires, I would imagine. Reversal now putting the pressure on the Sauber driver up ahead into turn number 9. Nothing doing there, maybe just showing him his nose, letting him know he's there. He's got a great run, though, out of the corner. Oh, but CRMR just putting his car in the exact right position. Not quite enough room for a reversal. Oh, he's got to be careful there about extending at the exit of that corner, but he's gotten a much better run through turns 11 and 12, but again backs out of it. And I have to believe that the Sauber of CRMR is really holding him up at this point in time, so Reversal really needs to try and get by. We've got a couple of cars in the pits right now, and that is going to be the Flying Finn, the Flying Finn taking the lead off of StreeZ, his teammate, TSR Cupid, into the pits for his first stop at the end of lap number 6. That seems very early, even for the super soft runners. Let's see if StreeZ can do anything on the way back. Of course, Flying Finn has the DRS because of just the single detection point on this circuit, so he is able to defend that position from StreeZ, from the Williams driver, and Cupid is going to feed out into 14th position, which just shows how close this league is to be fed out that deep into the field after just 6 laps of racing. I mean, that's no small amount of racing. So he is really going to be feeling that. Meanwhile, Limitless up into 4th position after some people into the pit stops, and Martin challenging him in 5th position at the moment into turn number 9. Possibly a bit of a lockup there for Limitless. Williams and Cupid side by side. Cupid, of course, on those much fresher tires and feeling pretty good. I wonder if he is in fact going to be 2-stopping. I would love to see what compound he's on, because I haven't seen that. It does look like the softs, if my eyes don't deceive me. Yes, they are the softs. So I think that's pretty much confirmation right there that Cupid is doing a 2-stop strategy, unless he's planning to do 23 laps on that set of soft tires, Ali.
Yep, we can safely assume Cupid is on the 2-stop. It's crucial for him that he avoids the traffic. He's got to make sure he's able to push, make the most of those fresh tyres, and with the long pit lane, only 37 miles an hour speed limit, you're going to lose a lot of time there. He's now got a 3-car battle for the final point. We're now for the battle for the lead. The flying fin braking so early into turn 1, trying to get a cutback line on VBR StreeZ. Now have Limitless and Martin again going side by side into turn 1. Martin down the inside of TRL Limitless. He's trying to maximise his run out of turn 1. Is he going to put it back up into rich mix? No, he's not. He's going the opposite way, down into lean, and he lets Martin go for now. As we have STS F1 Alonso working his way back up the field after that lap 1 incident, up into 9th place. And now we have Seiyariu and 6 Skills once again battling in this race into turn 11, turn 3 even, and he's got Seiyariu on the grass a little bit, locking up, and that's unfortunately a lot of time lost for him. And with the grass on his tyres, TSR Cupid is flying up the inside. He's made up a lot of time. I mean, you can just see the benefit of fresh tyres in this race. I mean, you do have to put that against the time lost in the pit lane, but he is definitely going to be flying at this stage of the race. We're now back with STS F1 Alonso, the reigning Constructors Champion, of course, from Season 12, on the back of Burnout F1 in that Ferrari. It does look a little bit strange seeing him in a Ferrari after 21 races in the Renault, but surely he can't try it round the outside into turn 11. Surely not. Is he going to? And Burnout, I think quite sensibly, backs out of that one. The first one to blink, if you will, into the corner. But now we are back with the battle for the lead. It is the Flying Fin versus StreeZ, and StreeZ taking an orthodox line through the penultimate corners into the pits so early. Lap 8, that is a very early pit stop, and as is Mike Marshmallow, who's on the super softs. So despite the fact StreeZ is on the harder compounded tyre, he's pitted the same lap as Mike Marshmallow. I think we can safely assume that StreeZ is also on a 2-stop, which seems a little bit strange to me.
Yeah, that would be difficult to try and manage 21 laps on a set of the mediums. He might go for it. We'll have to see what compound he fits. That will, of course, be a big clue as to what sort of strategy he is running. And StreeZ is on the... Well, I couldn't quite see them as it went by. I don't know if you caught the tire compound he was on. He was on softs, okay. Yeah, so, yeah, I think you're right about that. Certainly he's not going to do 21 laps on a set of the softs, so I think he's 2-stopping as well. So it's interesting. We're seeing a nice mixture of strategies here. Raikkonen now coming under threat from Williams around the outside of turn 3, which turns, of course, into the inside line for turn 4. Raikkonen trying a bit of a cutback there. TRL Williams seemingly giving him space and braking nice and early for what is normally nearly a full flat-out corner, if not flat-out. But Raikkonen sensibly staying behind. Oh, exceeding track limits, though. He's going to have to be careful about that. We're not sure. We've seen at least one 3-second time penalty for the drivers. And, of course, this is a circuit where you can very easily just turn in a little too early for a corner, such as turn 6, turn 11, which we're coming up to right here. Danny M7, wow, getting very defensive on StreeZ, who is, again, behind on those extremely fresh soft compound tires, just a few laps old at this point, and it does look like he's going to get very defensive once again into turn 13, but StreeZ not bothered by it, goes right around the outside. Limitless and Martin once again, here we go with the DRS for Limitless down into turn 1. It looks like he's going to make that move very easily. Martin seemingly not wanting to fight that too much and is just going to pick, which is interesting. That's exactly what Martin did, or Limitless did to Martin before when he dropped it down into lean mix, and I think that's the maturity level of those two drivers that we're seeing. They know when to fight and when not to fight. SDS F1 Alonso knows when to fight too. He's got the DRS on AOR Reversal in the inside line, but Reversal gives him no room. Cupid's come up behind him as well. Is going to sneak a position off SDS F1 Alonso. Burnout F1 in the Ferrari, I believe on his first stint, still on those mediums, is sneaking into that battle as well. Jason97 F1 losing a position to IRL Giovinazzi into turn 3. He tries to fight back at him with the inside line, but no, Giovinazzi holds on to that position in the Force India. And I believe he has been into the pits. Yes, he has been into the pits. Started on the super soft tires, now onto a set of the medium. So it looks like he is going to at least attempt a one-stop and see how it goes from there. SDS F1 Alonso, though, losing time to Cupid up ahead, who's going to try and go around the outside at turn number 11 on reversal. Not working for him there. Burnout F1, as I mentioned, very close behind on those mediums, which I'm sure are still holding up relatively decently. Meanwhile, Jason 97 F1 and Giovinazzi reuniting this battle, and it looks like a bit of a lift there from Jason. Yeah, he doesn't want to go side by side into that corner, and I can understand him, and he avoids any sort of corner cut or track extension there while managing to keep close to him. So here we go once again with Martin and Limitless, and again, I think I saw a little bit of a lift there from Martin, not wanting to go side by side and lose time with Limitless, trying to go side by side through turns 1 and 2. He gets a fantastic exit out of 2, though. Limitless defends the inside line. He's going to have to go around the outside, breaking around the 100-meter board. Limitless has the measure of him, though. He tries a bit of a cut back there, but not really working for him, and Limitless lives to fight another day. Meanwhile, the other Renault trying to grab that position off of Giovinazzi. Looks like he's going to do that fairly easily with the use of DRS down into turn 1. So, correct me if I'm wrong here, Ali, but this seems like very mature levels of racing for the opening round of a season.
It does. I mean, well, obviously we have had 21 races of Season 12 before this, so these guys aren't too new to the game. I think it's safe to say that, but TRL Limits and TRL Martin going at each other just like we saw all that time ago in Season 10. That does feel like a very long time ago now, but TRL Martin obviously came out on top in that battle, and TRL Limitless somehow is not an AOR champion yet, but didn't have the greatest of seasons last season, so I'm sure he'll be looking to rectify that in Season 13. And this was the 3 wide moment into turn 3 on lap 1 with, I think that's a Sauber, a Manor and a McLaren, and as I said earlier, 3 into 1 does not go, and whoa, the Sauber just seemed to, the front wing just protested, decided they didn't want to stay on the car any longer, and disappeared without any contact on the wall seemingly, which is a little bit strange. This is Alonso's point of view. Into turn 3, he can't really leave any more space than that. I don't think he was aware that there were 2 cars on his outside, and there is the self-dismantling Sauber front wing, which is just like we saw with Jason last season in USA, except this time there was no terminal damage involved. This was Falcon getting so close to Jason. I think Falcon, yeah, he's just caught up again. There's nowhere he can go, and again his front wing decides to fall off voluntarily on the wall with minimal contact. This is Burnout on the mediums coming under pressure from StreeZ.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, that's unfortunate from Burnout there. Yeah, and it looks like it's happened again. He's going to lose even more positions. Down into 12th position. Yeah, that is very unfortunate for the Ferrari driver. Really, no fault of his own, and as you mentioned, was running in a really good position as well. So that is pretty frustrating, but Limitless and Martin, their battling is continuing, and there is a car up ahead in the pits, and Martin is going to join him into the pits as Limitless continues on for another lap, and it is, of course, our race leader, who was the only car that was ahead of that battle for second position, who was into the pits for a new set of tires. Martin as well is going to opt for a set of the medium tires, medium compound tires for him, and the Flying Fin at the end of lap number 12, which would give them a 17-lap stint on the medium tires, which should be more than doable. Danny M7, who at times seems overly generous and at other times seems overly aggressive, does look like he's going to try and put the moves on the Flying Fin here, even though Finn just came out of the pits on these brand new tires, and he's got the inside line, so it looks like Danny M is going to, no, he's going to fight back a little bit once again. I have to imagine the Flying Fin, though, able to hold off on that one. Jason 97 F1 now trying to put them, oh gosh, he's trying to get by the Ferrari, but now Giovinazzi is going to get by both of them around the outside at turn number 3, inside line at turn number 4, goes side by side with Williams, gets the better of him. Jason 97 F1, very opportunistic from him there as well, gaining position off the Ferrari, and StreeZ now trying to put the moves on reversal. Oh, and he's actually going to switch to the inside. I was going to say, not quite alongside, heading into turn number 11 there. Coming out of turn number 12 now on the, oh gosh, bit of contact there between Reversal and StreeZ. Gonna have to be careful about that one. Looks like, oh gosh, very late. That's a very late dive bomb for StreeZ there. I'm not really sure if he really deserved room inside that corner, because that was pretty far back. I don't know if Reversal braked early. I might need to see some sort of replay of that if I want to make any sort of judgment on it. But now Reversal into the pits at the end of lap number 13 for what we assume will be a set of medium tires, and Limitless as well going on to a set of the mediums. Looks like he's going to drop down to at least fourth. And we've got a Ferrari on the side of the road. That's Tyrrell Williams. I think he was missing his front wing, if I'm not mistaken, as well. And Limitless on his way out of the pits. It looks like he's going to come out just ahead of Martin. But Martin is, of course, going to carry more speed through turn 1 than Limitless will. He's not going to get the benefit of the DRS because the detection point is before the final corner. So he's going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, around the outside, laid onto the brakes. His tires are, of course, going to be a bit more up to temperature. Can he get the inside line for turn 4? No, Limitless hangs it around the outside. Fantastic battling we're seeing here between Limitless and Martin. And meanwhile, Jason97 F1 still having a little bit of a battle here with Giovinazzi. And wow, around the outside at turn 5 for Giovinazzi. Great stuff for him. And some more side-by-side battling going on between Suphrize and Falcon, I believe that is, on his right-hand side. And he will get the inside line for turn 4. Surely Falcon can't go around the outside there. No, he can't. And Suphrize is going to be in 16th position. Raikkonen not far behind that battle. Here we are on board with the Williams driver now.
Indeed, Raikkonen looks like he's still struggling a little bit down the field after that instant we saw at turn 1 where he picked up front wing damage and then ended up doing burnouts across the track. But now we've got this battle for 16th place with pretty much all the drivers who were caught up in incidents on lap 1. You can see how much time it's cost them throughout the course of this race, but now we are back to this battle between Limitless and Martin. I have to think that that opportunity for Martin to get through into turn 3 round the outside was a prime opportunity, because obviously Limitless is on 1 lap fresher tyres, so I don't know how much of an effect that will have as we move on into the race, but you've got to think that Martin had a massive opportunity there. And we still have TSR Cupid in the lead of this race, but obviously he has to make 1 more stop. So if you think about it, the Flying Finn is the net leader of this race. But back to this battle with Limitless and Martin. Limitless this time deciding not to defend the inside. Martin is going to have the inside line into turn 3. Limitless running in lean mix, trying to aim for a cutback line, maybe through turn 3. And Martin this time into turn 4 has got the move done. And these guys again showing their experience. Oh, that is lots of strange things going on the straight between Falcon and Suphrize Meh, who I think I've just absolutely bottled his name, so apologies for that. But again, this battle for 16th place is really hotting up. Obviously no points available for 16th place. It is just pride even at this stage, as we now have Suphrize Meh letting both of these guys through, it seems, which is a little bit odd. But we have the net leader of the race, the Flying Finn, rolling around currently in 2nd place, 8 seconds behind his teammate. But if I'm honest, I can't see him closing up that gap after making a pit stop with the long pit lane time that you have here in Australia. I can't see him making up the time to his teammate once again. So I think going forward into this race, the Flying Finn is in a very good position, as Cupid is into the pit already. So I would imagine that's another set of soft tyres, or maybe even a set of mediums. It is mediums.
Wow.
Surely that is not the quickest strategy. Super soft, soft medium. I mean, when some guys are doing soft medium, surely super soft, soft medium doesn't occur to you as one of the fastest strategies. But anyway, Cupid is in the pits on a set of mediums, looking to take them to the end, and he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to be right.
Yeah, that's going to be
Giovinazzi and Jason once again into turn 1.
Yeah, and battling for points once again. SDS F1 Alonso trying to defend his points from StreeZ, who is on those soft compound tires, and he's going to defend that inside line. Some yellow flags actually flashing at turn 3 there. That's interesting, and it looks like Alonso actually is going to hold off StreeZ. He leaves him room at the inside of turn number 4, but StreeZ is just climbing all over the back of him, tucked up underneath that gearbox, just trying to find a way by. Wow, some darks. The shadows on board with Raikkonen here are extremely black. Very hard to see what's going on. A bit of contact there, actually, between Falcon and Raikkonen, but Raikkonen does end up making the move stick, and no significant damage, or even minor damage. No damage whatsoever between those two. Jason97 F1 and IRL Giovinazzi once again going, well, nearly side-by-side in towards turn 11, but no, Giovinazzi holds off on that one. Jason97 F1 opting to keep the same strategy was what I believe he just selected, so no change of strategy for him. He's going to try and make it to the end on that set of mediums, one would assume. Martin and Limitless continuing their battle, and you have to wonder if they might actually be further up the road if they weren't battling so much, but they are continuing their battle once again. Limitless is closing on Martin, but of course will not try and make the overtake into turn number 1. His teammate, on the other hand, Jason97F1, is going to get that overtake done nice and early, and man, just look how close Limitless is to the back of Martin as they come out of turn 2. He gets the inside line as well, and once again, Martin just seemingly not fighting it. I mean, they're trading positions quite a bit, swapping DRS back and forth. They have had their side-by-side moments, but I don't think they're slowing each other down too much. Now, the same cannot be said for Limitless's teammate, however, on account of him constantly going side-by-side with Giovinazzi, so the gap to 6th position is unfortunately only growing bigger and bigger as these two continue to go side-by-side with one another. We're well past the halfway point of this race now. Suphrize and RS Falcon now going to go side-by-side once again. This is another duo that seemingly cannot be separated. Falcon with the inside line through turn number 4 should be able to get that done, and does indeed, moves back up into 17th position. Again, not even points-paying positions. It is all for pride, as Ali mentioned. So back on board with Martin, and Ali, I'm going to take a wild guess here and say that he's going to pass Limitless here.
Really? Never would have thought so, but now we have STS F1 Alonso coming into the final sector together. Alonso on the super soft tyres. I'm not entirely sure when he pitted, but he could potentially... I'm not entirely sure if he's going to the end or not, as now I have Danny pitting from P3, that was, so very high up the order. It's going to be interesting to see where he comes out, but this battle is going to be so frustrating for Jason. I mean, I think he's trying to go to the end, and I don't think Giovinazzi is, because he pitted significantly earlier than the Renault driver, so Jason is holding him up a lot, as we now have Cupid into the pits again for what I can only assume was a drive-through penalty, because he's still on that same set of medium tyres. Oh no, it's all gone wrong for the early leader Cupid. I believe that was a drive-through, as he's come out in P10. That is way behind the rest of the points as well. That's not gone well at all for Cupid. If that was indeed a drive-through, that's cost him severely. I mean, we mentioned the long pit lane time earlier, and there you can see exactly how long that pit lane time is, as we have Falcon being held for the Sauber in the pits. And I believe now everybody will be going to the end. I can't see many more stops being made before the end of this race. And yes, there we go. It must have indeed been a drive-through for TSR Cupid, formerly known as HCR Cupid last season, and then Dizzy Cupid before that. But whatever name he's raced under, he has always been incredibly quick, winning the Season 11 title. And the only criticism we could possibly have had of him last season, his outright pace was always incredible. He was often probably the fastest man on track, probably the fastest man over one lap in qualifying, but he was always had a habit of being too aggressive in the races. If you remember, particularly back to Monaco was probably the best example of a little bit of over-exuberance maybe, and that's something that will probably come with experience, which is something that TRL Limitless and TRL Martin have got a lot of, and they're showing it a lot in this race as well, as we now have this battle continuing onto lap 19 into turn 3. Martin down the inside of Limitless. Limitless is very late on the brakes, locks the inside front and carries it all the way around the outside. What a move from TRL Limitless. He didn't have a great season last time out, and well, he's showing signs that that is all in the past now. He's looking to improve that and some, possibly even win his first ever AOR title. Came so agonisingly close in season 9, but still somehow has managed to not win a title. Maybe this is the season for Limitless, but obviously he's got to try and beat the Flying Finn, the man who's looked so imperious last season and so imperious in this race as well. As we now have StreeZ, the man who was challenging the Flying Finn early on, battling with the Flying Finn's former teammate, STS F1 Alonso, as we go into turn 3, and Alonso running very wide onto the curb. That curb just kills any kind of exit speed, but Alonso managed to get the move done.
Yep, and I'm sure Limitless and Martin would really prefer if this battle was for the lead of this race. They do actually move up to second. Somebody was in the pits there. Couldn't tell who because of Martin. But yeah, I'm sure they would prefer that this was the battle for the lead, and it is in fact Mike Marshmallow, who I assume is going on to a set of the Super Softs, considering that there's only 10 laps remaining, but maybe the Softs if he's playing it a little bit more cautiously. But yeah, it is in fact the Flying Finn, and you could just about see him at certain points on the mini-map. There he is going through turn number 6 as Limitless and Martin are going through turn number 5. So they're not too far behind, but it's far enough behind that I think it might be a bit disappointing for them. Again, they certainly would prefer if that was the battle for the lead rather than for second place. But some fantastic racing we're seeing between those two guys, and between the two of them, they probably have hundreds of AOR AOR league races between them of experience. So let's see, CRMR, who I've noticed has had a constant issue in this race of braking on the grass. I think we've seen it at least twice from him. There he is, nearly doing it again into the penultimate corner as he's doing battle. Oh, and there's a big drift. I mean, that wasn't even a slide. That was a drift. I mean, he was on
it's all gone wrong.
Full-on opposite lock there. That's going to lose him a position. It looked great, but that's definitely not the fastest way through the final corner. And AOR Raikkonen, another man who I'm sure is having a disappointing afternoon, is going to lose a position to StreeZ. His teammate going to make his way through after a bit of wheel spin coming out of turn 10. So that's just going to put him even further away from a points-paying position. The Flying Finn, unsurprisingly, is going to opt to continue on in the lead of this race on these medium compound tires. Less than 8 laps remaining in this race, 7 laps remaining at the end of this lap. As we're about a quarter of the way through or 3/4 of the way through the race, a quarter of the race still remaining. And you could just see that gap behind the Flying Finn. I mean, it's a 10-second gap between him and whoever might be in second at this particular moment in time. But yeah, the gap between Limitless and Martin, less than 5/10. So it is very, very close between those two guys. Reversal now, though, up into 6th position. I don't know if he needs to stop again, but that would be pretty incredible. He's going to defend the inside line into turn number 6 from STS F1 Alonso, but then flat out section here, full throttle section again. Reversal hugging that inside line, looking like he maybe wanted to defend the inside line into turn number 9, and STS F1 Alonso having a look. Oh, but it's some wheel spin. The back end stepping out ever so slightly at the exit of number 9 there. That's going to kill any momentum that he had. Probably no chance to overtake into turn number 11 here as they make their way through the highest speed corners of the circuit now and into sector number 3, and decent sized gap to Cupid behind. Oh, that's quite a run though for Alonso. He's actually going to pick up the inside line. Oh, contact between the two of them puts Alonso into a spin. He catches it though. He's not going to lose any sort of positions. He is going to lose a bit of time to Cupid, but if he is in fact the faster car compared to the car up ahead, Reversal, then he will gain that time back relatively quickly. Here we see it from Reversal's point of view. Maybe could have given him a little bit more space at the inside of the corner. I don't think that was quite a car's width, but yeah, on Reversal's side, I don't think he was that far alongside. So I guess Reversal can't be entirely blamed for that one. Danny M7, though, currently in a points-paying position. I use points plural because he would get 2 points for this current position that he's in, but he would like to double that if he can. Mike Marshmallow, now a Force India driver, is in 8th position, and Danny M7 would really like to take those 2 points off of Mike Marshmallow if he can. Marshmallow defends the position quite well into turn 3, into turn 4 as well. Bit of a dirty air effect for Danny M7 is going to lose him some time through turn number 5. He's going to close that in up to 6 now. CRMR, though, into the pits at the end of lap number 22, just 7 laps remaining, is going to come out just ahead of his teammate Suphrize, but he is on brand new super soft tires, so you would expect him to be significantly faster than his teammate, at least once those tires come up to temperature, which I'm sure they will relatively quickly. So that's what it's looking like for the Sauber boys right now, which is to say not very good. Burnout F1 is going to reclaim a position on AOR Raikkonen after a bit of wheel banging into turn number 1. He'll pick up the DRS as well, but Raikkonen will get the slipstream. It looked like that was the end of that battle, though. Here's the replay with Danny M7 at the start of lap 24, having a look at Mike Marshmallow trying to go around the outside of Cupid. Oh, and there's a bit of contact, and Cupid's race goes from bad to worse.
It was looking so promising early on for Cupid, but again, probably the one flaw that we could... Oh, wow, that's a very late on the brakes Force India, but yeah, back to TSR Cupid. It looked like he's really struggled to consistently produce in the race. It was staying out of incidents that was always a problem for him, and then he's going very slowly there, which is slightly strange, but I think that is probably Cupid's afternoon over for now, which is so disappointing considering your pole position for the 2nd season in a row, and it's just all gone downhill, unfortunately, for the Mercedes man whose teammate is having the best start to his championship bid possible. I mean, there's a big gap to close. 25 points behind after the first race is a long old way, and then back to this battle, well, the seemingly never-ending battle for what seems to have worked out as P2 here with Limitless and Martin as everybody's pitted. I believe Jason behind is also going to the end, and both of these cars are going to the end as Cupid again is going slowly. It appears he has given up all hope in this race, and we now have Raikkonen with 65% tyre wear he'll be stretching those tyres if he wants to go to the end. And then IRL Giovinazzi, the man who was battling Jason so much early on, is pitted for super softs, which just begged the question, why were they battling so hard when they were on essentially completely different strategies? It doesn't seem to have made sense for either of them. It's cost Jason the chance of battling for a podium, and I think that's definitely cost Giovinazzi a lot of time as well. And I think one of the reasons we've seen a couple of instances into this corner is one of the braking boards has gone, which is slightly off-putting, and probably one that a lot of drivers use as reference points, and another braking board gone into the penultimate corner, so there is really no reference point, and Martin has completely missed his reference point. That might have been because there was no braking board into the penultimate corner, and now Limitless is going to have a look into turn 1 as he's running in standard mix, not using Rich at this stage of the race, but it's more than enough with a DRS to pull alongside into turn 1. Martin going for the cutback line. Limitless has run slightly deep into turn 1. Martin's got much better exits, carried so much more speed to the runner. They're getting so close on the exit into turn 3. Limitless with the DRS. Can he do anything to defend from Martin? He's going to carry it all the way around the outside once again, pulling off the same move that we saw him pull off so well early on. And Martin on the grass a little bit as well, but wow, this is incredible stuff from these two veterans of AOR.
It really is. It is. I mean, it's really a treat getting to watch them battle it out. Mike Marshmallow trying to pull a Limitless there, and does actually manage to do it. So yeah, going around the outside of turn 3 will henceforth be known as pulling a Limitless, because he's done it twice in this race, in this ongoing battle, as you mentioned, this never-ending battle with Martin. And these are these are the moments that's slowing them down. So when they overtake each other, you know, just in a straight line, that's no big deal. Let's see if he's actually able to do it here. No, I think they're going to be side by side once again. So I mean, they've pretty much lost to the Flying Finn. I mean, there's really no chance of catching him. There's 3 and a bit laps of racing remaining, and over a 10-second gap last I checked between second and first. So at this point, and it's a sizable gap to fourth position as well. So I don't think these guys are really bothered about trying to win the race or about trying to defend from fourth position. So really, I think this is all about fun and protecting each other's pride, and really getting the extra 3 points as well, as there's a slight contact there. We've seen that a number of times, Ali, actually. Some contact with the backs of cars causing oversteer moments, both for the car ahead and for the car behind. I feel like we haven't seen that as much in previous races in this F1 2016 game, but it feels like we've seen that a lot today. But Limitless is going to hold on to that position despite that contact from Martin earlier in the lap, as we're very close to the end of the race now. Just 2.5 laps remaining. Limitless holding on to this position, but I think it's safe to say he's probably going to lose the position at least one more time, and then it will be up to him to try and get that position back. Oh, that's Reversal completely missing his apex there for turn 6. He's going to defend the inside line from Alonso as they go through turn 8. That's going to give him the inside line for turn number 9 as well. Alonso a bit on the grass there, and a breaking contact between the two of them, and that's going to result in the Red Bull driver losing his entire front wing with just over 2 laps of racing remaining. He is going to have to pit. He's already down into 9th position. That's going to take him right out of contention for points even. Because he is going to have to pit, and Limitless now braking on the grass. That's really going to hurt him, but it doesn't seem as if Martin has maximized that small incident. It looks like there's a blade of grass on the camera too. I don't know if you noticed that. But Limitless, yeah, very slow through the final corner because of that mistake. That's going to allow Martin to go up into 2nd place nice and easily. He tries to copy Martin's move on the previous lap, where he tries the little cutback at turn 1 to get the better exit, but unfortunately, I think Martin was wise to that, and again, onto the grass during the braking, but Limitless keeping everything pointed in the right direction, under control. Reversal, as I mentioned, going to have to pit at the end of lap 27 out of 29. Absolutely gutted for him. Burnout F1, though, coming under attack from Giovinazzi. Inside line for turn number 1 for the Force India driver is going to move him up into a double points paying position. Burnout F1, though, of course, wants those 2 points. He's going to try and get that point back from Giovinazzi. He's got the inside line. Can he brake late enough? Yes, he can, to go side by side, and I think possibly the super softs on that Force India are starting to fall away. There's still one more lap on the penultimate lap of this Australian Grand Prix, and I don't think it's quite over yet for Burnout F1. Giovinazzi, I think, is clearly struggling here, Ali.
Yeah, the super softs are probably giving up the ghost at this point, as Burnout, the man who took so long to score his first points in Season 12, is looking on course to score points in the first race of Season 13, but now back on board with the Flying Finn, the man who has been so impressive today. He has an imperious lead over the battling pair of Tyrrell Martin and Tyrrell Limitless behind as we're about to start the final lap of the Grand Prix. TRL Limitless, he's in the box seat here. He's going to have the DRS, he's going to have the slipstream into turn 1. Martin now's got a really nice, oh no he hasn't, he's gone completely sideways over to the wall, out the final corner into turn 1. Martin weaving all over the track. Limitless pulling to the inside. Is he going to be able to make it stick into turn 1? He is. Martin's going to go for a cutback though. He's got a much better run. Limitless weaving a little bit in the traction zone. Martin pulling to the outside for turn 3. Can he pull a Limitless? He doesn't have DRS. He's going to be so late on the brakes. There's contact. Wheel banging between the two of them. There's obviously so much history between them, and there's a little bit more being written today, and this battle for P2 is going to go right up to the lines. We've now got Danny and Mike Marshmallow. Danny looking on course to score points on his AOR debut. I mean, that's 7th place is solid points as well. It's a very impressive performance from the Haas driver, but Limitless and Martin, again, this has been incredibly intense all race. Limitless going defensive into turn 9. Martin trying to go around the outside. Limitless locks the inside front, and Limitless manages to maintain the position. He's going so defensive into every corner, but using every ounce of experience he's gained from racing in so many seasons of this league. And it looks like Martin is just too far back to be able to make a move into the final section. He's running out of opportunities to get past the Renault, as we're now back on board with the race leader. The man has been so impressive today.
And he's lapped his teammate.
Wow, obviously we can't keep his performances too much because of what happens, but the Flying Finn up to the line to win. He's going to let his teammate by. Grand Prix. What is going on here between the two Mercedes teammates, but between the Renault and the Red Bull, it's Martin and Limitless. And Limitless looks like he's going to take home 2nd place in what has been an incredibly intense opening race of season 13. Wow, respect to both of those guys for providing us with so much entertainment throughout that race.
Yeah, Jason97 F1 just outside of the podium finish. I'm sure he's going to be happy about that. As you mentioned, Danny M7, a fantastic result. I guess 7 is in fact his lucky number as he comes home and brings home some points as well in his first race. As you mentioned, fantastic result for him. In the end, Burnout F1 could not get by Giovinazzi. We didn't see the end of that battle, but it certainly looks like AOR Raikkonen, who was just outside of the points, unfortunately, in 11th, with a pretty decent-sized gap up ahead, though, so it's not like he was close to getting points, but he is at least going to put himself in 11th in the championship after Suphrize Meh in 13th position, just ahead of AOR Reversal, who, again, absolutely gutted for Reversal. 6 Skills in 15th position. Killer Whale in 16th position, which is unfortunate. The Haas driver starting in 6th position in qualifying. And here's the replay of Reversal and Alonso, and I think that's a racing incident because a Reversal gave him enough room. I think, you know, the tires were just dead. Let's see it here from Alonso's perspective. He gets onto the curbing, and yeah, there's probably slight contact, and I think that just violently sent the Red Bull into the wall, and I don't think there was much that he could do about it. 6 Skills in the end actually does pick up P11 though over AOR Raikkonen. And oh no, I'm sorry, that was 20 lap 28. This is the start of the final lap now. 6 Skills trying to put the moves on Raikkonen. We know that Raikkonen did indeed finish in 11th, so let's see if he was able to get by. Oh gosh, oh no, and I'm not sure what's happened there. Let's see it from Raikkonen's point of view. Was there some sort of puncture or something? No, they just kind of came together, and it caused some very strange things to happen there. So that's unfortunate for both of those drivers. I think that too, a bit of a racing incident. So in the end, with all of the penalties tallied, Mike Marshmallow finishing in 6th position. SDSF1 Alonso, though, for McLaren, picking up 10 points. That is 10 crucial points for his championship. I'm sure he's going to be very happy about that. But Mike Marshmallow, with that 6-second penalty, actually doesn't lose anything as a result of that, so no big deal for him there. Danny, though, did end up losing a position, actually a couple of positions, so he actually crossed the line. No, yeah, because Mike had the 6-second penalty, so he crossed the line in 7th, but ended up finishing in 8th with 9 seconds worth of penalties. And Burnout F1 actually did get that 9th place position in the end on IRL Giovinazzi because of a 6-second time penalty for him as well. In the end, Tyrrell Williams, the only car that DNF'd, RS Falcon and Franglish a few laps behind, and Killer Whale, the last of the drivers to finish on the lead lap, 1 minute and 11 seconds behind the leaders of the race. And again, as we mentioned before, Hamilton, Franglish, and Lucky Dog 2000. Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize for the second Franglish there, but yeah, well, you had some DNSs as well in that race, so I'm sure there will be even more action. So the Drivers' Championship, unsurprisingly, looks a lot like the race results. Just doing some quick math here, though, and yeah, actually, Renault is going to be leading the championship because of those 2 solid points finishes for Limitless and Jason, so already looking like a very strong pairing there at Renault as they finish 2nd and 4th, 2 cars in the top 5, which earns them first in the Constructors' Championship ahead of Mercedes after that win from the Flying Finn and the final podium position for the Red Bull. And as we mentioned, STS F1 Alonso for McLaren Honda, putting them in 4th position. Force India, though, not far behind, just 1 point behind in 5th position. So that is going to do it for the Australian Grand Prix. Coming up next time is going to be the Bahrain Grand Prix. So looking forward to that one. And you got to say, Ali, that circuit's a little bit more representative of the rest of the tracks we're going to see on the calendar.
It is a lot more overtaking opportunities, many longer straights. And if you remember back to last season, the tyre wear was really bad, particularly for the Flying Finn, who had potentially the win robbed from him by a puncture. So I wonder whether we'll see any more of that next time out. But Bahrain tends to provide a little bit better racing than Australia as well, which is something to bear in mind. And also, it's a very good track for Tyrrell Martin, as we saw last season as well. So a lot to play for, and obviously, if we have as good a race as we had here in Australia, we should be in for an absolute cracker.
Yep, really looking forward to it. I hope you guys are excited for it. Make sure you tune in next time for the Season 13 Bahrain Grand Prix. That's it for us for this time. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.